basically on a traditional diet, other than flour and those kind of things for bannock. And I don't recall my mother ever making bread. I recall her making bannock, but I don't ever recall her making bread. We call it bannock, yeah. Yeah. And through the years, I've sort of refined my art of making bannock to where I'm a premier bannock baker now.
Oh.
According to everybody that eats my bannock.
Well, there we go.
Including a dog that we had on the prospect with us in the Yukon, who was the biggest bannock thief I ever seen. He could take a hot bannock out of a frying pan and never burn his mouth down. The first time I discovered that he liked bannock, I put 2 of them. We were going on a day side trip, and I was making bannock to take along. And I put 2 on a rock and turned around, and there was only 1 there. And there he was off a ways from the fire, sitting there getting his lips, even when the dogs love it. But my dad was I found out, all the things I found out about my father, I found out pretty well after his death. And the fact that he was a chef, he was bakers, second to none. His pastries and all that sort of stuff. Although I never ate any. Like, he never cooked when he was around me. But he was always asked by the Dryden Legion to come and do the meal for their celebration out at the lake. And, he was a terrific bridge player and a baseball player. He got his nickname was Poodles. And this came about, he was playing baseball for the Dryden team. And their uniforms were white. And he was the shortstop. So one of the ladies in the stand coined the phrase, "Oh, look, he looks just like a poodle running around after that ball." So from after that, forever, he was called Poodle. There's memories like that have resurfaced that weren't really conscious memories when I was traveling around, and that I never really thought about it. But in retrospect, in hindsight, as you sit and think about your family tree and about your family and little things that come up every now and again that you, oh, yeah, right, I remember that. And like me and my cousins shooting the Ober Rapids. Nobody ever shot the Ober Rapids. Nobody. That was just something that grown men didn't even do. My cousin and I, Bozo, he's dead now. Him and I served together in Korea. And we borrowed a canoe from the forestry branch. We carried it all the way down to the river in a big canoe. And we jumped in and we shot the rapids. Everybody shot the rapids. That's what we thought. We found out nobody went down the Ober Rapids. It wasn't safe. But we did. We made it. And then my Uncle Hut caught us and made us, he was a forestry ranger, and he made us carry the canoe all the way back up to the forestry branch. Life was good back then. You know, the things that the closeness of people. Our family consisted of there was 4 brothers and a cousin. 5 brothers and a cousin. And they were all working more or less together as trappers, except for my Uncle John. He had a store, and I'm still trying to figure out where it was, but that's what everybody in the family tells me. That's how come they ended up in Oba from Dryden, was that John went down there to a place called McDuff, which is just up the CNR line from Oba. And yeah, they were. I guess that's one of the good attributes of the Métis Nation, is that everybody seemed to be entrepreneurs and very enterprising and very self-starters. You know, they never hung back waiting for somebody to go first. But whenever I'm talking to young children, especially in school, when I'm doing presentations and talking about history or survival or whatever, I always leave them with the idea that always learn all that you can about everything that you can. Because knowledge doesn't weigh anything, and you can take it with you wherever you go. Your best equipment that you will ever have is your mind. So whatever it is that you're going to get involved in, always work through everything that you need to learn about it, and that knowledge will serve you well once you come to be a participant in whatever it is, life itself. In the survival, teaching survival, it's always your best equipment is your mind, and use it. Don't emotions or your situation take over and run you ragged, and where you've wasted all your resources, all your energy and everything for no good reason. It's always the best idea to sit down and think about your situation. Think through it, and this is not only in survival, but in anything you're going to do. You need to actually sit down and put your mind to it and really consider what it is that you're attempting to do. And a lot of problems will shrink accordingly as you think about them and think through them. And that would be my advice to any young people. Education, knowledge. Knowledge, as much knowledge as you can gain in whatever endeavor you're going to get into. And stay in school. For whatever reason, stay in school. I know it's a fight sometimes, but that I found out when I went back to school in my 50s. I went back to college to get my forestry diploma, how much fun it was.